I got married to the love of my life. We met on a blind date, and 4 months later we were married. And then a year later after that, we had our first baby girl, Lily, and she's the most precious little girl. And then 2 years after that, I had a son, Levi. And we traveled, pursuing my husband's music career. We moved to Las Vegas, and then in Las Vegas, I got some jobs out there singing as well. And so we always pursued our joy. My dad always taught me to pursue my joy. So, and we made a very good living at it for quite some time. And then, the record deal thing fell through for him in LA. So we packed up the kids and said, let's just raise our kids in Kansas. So we went back to his hometown and found a beautiful home, just gorgeous. I should not have been living in a home with a 3-car garage and 4 bedrooms and a saltwater pool down the street. And I was very blessed. I was just living the life. It was perfect. I had the perfect marriage, the perfect kids, the perfect relationship with God that my father taught me how to have. And so I was really joyful during that time. And then my world just, it imploded. And it was really the most devastating thing that I can think happened. And it was just, it was just horrible. My baby girl, she was 4, and she came to me and told me that someone had laid too hard on her. And she told me that when she was going to the bathroom and I was helping her. And I saw that it was red and raw, and I said, oh, honey. And I think I just kind of blacked out a little bit because my mind was racing to go back to thinking about the person that she was with, going, oh my God, it makes sense. And I was so angry at myself for not picking up on it. I tried to pick up on it, but I could always brush it away and say, no, that person wouldn't do that. Or I would go to my husband and say, honey, I think there's something just off about that person, and I don't want our kids around him. And everybody would say, oh no, that's not happening. You saw wrong, or you're thinking wrong, or no. And so I went along with it, and I should have listened. I should have listened to, and I didn't. And I beat myself up every day, and I know I'm better, but so I gathered up my kids and told my husband what my daughter said. My son was 2 at the time, and so my husband told me to gather the kids and get in a car and drive to Nashville where my parents were, and that he would take care of everything. He would confront this guy himself, and that and that he would just pack up the house and get all of our stuff out of the home and bring it to Nashville. And so I'm so glad that he did, because I probably would have been violent. That warrior inside of me would have been in jail. So anyway, I get to Nashville with my kids, and I'm giving them a bath, and my son says something, and I just thought it was her. So she confirmed what he said, because she saw it happen to him. And that's my babies. During that time, I was so angry at God. I was so angry at God. How could you do this? How could you allow this to happen? I wanted to throw my Bible in the trash can and say, no, bye. I'm mad at you. I devoted my life to you. What did I do to allow this into my life? And then after I tried the drinking route and found out that that wasn't going to go anywhere except make me not coherent when detectives called, and I was starting to lose time and space, not blackout. I guess you would call them blackouts, but it was just I wouldn't remember a conversation unless the other person would remind me of it. So I said, okay, I got to get rid of this alcohol. So the only way that I could was saying, okay, God, prove it to me, tell me what you did and why. And I opened up my Bible and started reading, and it was in Ephesians 6, talking about the armor of God and how we're in a battle and we're in a war in our life, and that God didn't do this to us, Adam and Eve did, because God gave dominion to Adam and Eve over this earth, and then Adam and Eve gave it to Satan, and Satan is ruling on this world right now, and he decided to attack me. And so it wasn't God that did this. And when I got to that point, I started realizing, wait, I have the authority to get this straight and get it better. I'm going to be that warrior, that army soldier like my daddy was in the Air Force. I'm going to go and I'm going to beat this thing. And thank God for my mom. She pulled me out of devastation. She stopped us, my husband and I, from getting a divorce. She just stepped right in and said, no, you guys don't make a rash decision while you're in pain. Thank God for people that stand for marriage in tough times. So I stopped drinking heavily and dove into the Word and started praying over my children. They got better, and they don't have any nightmares anymore, and they don't, their laughs are back, and they're just so beautiful and smart. I found out how strong I am. I found out that I don't have to, I don't have to people please anymore. I'm going to be a grown-up, and if I see something, I have my boundaries now, and I'm not going to let any of my boundaries down, especially when I see something that's just a little bit off. I'm just going to keep my distance, and my children at a distance. And I think that's the only thing, is I found out how strong I am. And I found out how strong Lily and Levi are. They're so forgiving. My son is ready to reconcile, and he's 5. My daughter's not yet. I think it's because she saw things happen to him, but she is brave and he is strong, and they're both funny, and they both sing so beautifully and full of life and joy. There was a time where I was afraid to love them again, because because I love them so much, but I loved them so much before all this happened. They were my life. And I had to relearn how to love them again, not because of their they're just beautiful. I was just afraid to love them again because I didn't want my heart to break so hard like it did. And I'm finally back in love with my kids again. I feel free to love them, and it's been 3 years. I mean, it's 3 years later. I'm just now to the point where I can fully love them again and love myself and love my husband. And so it's a journey, and I think this will always be in the back of my head and my family's head. But if there's moms out there, and you think something's going on, you're not crazy. Stand up for your children. I would encourage every person that's going through this or thinking they might be going through it, or their children have said something, always believe the child, no matter what. No matter what, always believe the child, because their little souls are so important. Especially when they're that little and they're saying things that they've said they've seen, and they didn't see it on TV because you're strict about what you watch on TV. Just connect the dots if that's happening. So it's such a it's a hard thing to accuse somebody of. But when you know that you know that you know that it happened because you believe your children and you saw their face and you saw their areas, you have to treat it as if it did happen. And so I still do to this day, and I'm very vigilant over them. And but the thing is it's working.